Hey guys, I hope you're doing well. So this weekend I went on this 2-day communication workshop on empathy and how to communicate more compassionately. And I wanted to share some very basic principles around that today and kind of like what I learned and what I got out of it. So why did I go on this workshop? Well, I think we don't get taught how to communicate empathetically and with compassion in our society. I grew up not really knowing how the hell to connect with my feelings and like what was going on inside of me. So you get upset and you get triggered and you don't know what's going on, and so it's very difficult. It's like learning a new language, how to actually figure out what the hell is happening inside of us. And how to communicate that is a completely different thing altogether. So I really wanted to learn how to do this. I wanted to learn how to have better communication in my relationships with all the different people in my life, and have more authentic communication as well, and genuine connection. And to do that, it's pretty hard because our whole life, we habitually have these patterns of reacting to certain things, and it's difficult to actually try and figure out what's happening, what feelings are coming up, and what we're actually needing in that moment, in that situation. And it takes a lot of consciousness to actually, rise above that habitual conditioning and communicate that. So this framework, it's around like four sort of steps, and what it is you number one is like you observe what's happening, and you can use this on yourself or you can use it on with another person. So number one is you observe what's happening. So that's around facts only, like this is what's happened and you don't add anything to it. This is what you said, or this is what you did, this is what I heard. And number two is the feelings. So you connect that to how that made you feel. So you said this or you did that, and it made me feel like this. It made me feel disappointed. It made me feel hurt. And then you connect that to the needs. So what's the actual underlying need beneath that feeling? So I need to feel appreciated, listened to be heard, to be seen. There's all these different needs that are underlying everything, really. And the guy who came up with NVC, or compassionate communication, he kind of said that whenever there's a big argument or a conflict between whoever, it's a tragic expression of unmet needs. So needs that are not being met. And so this really is a way to learn how to authentically communicate and connect with what's going on inside of us, and connect with other people with empathy. And so in this workshop, we kind of learned about the technique more deeply. I'd read the book a couple months ago, and I'd actually already been trying to apply it in my own life in different ways. And it was a really beautiful experience. There's only about 8 of us there. 2 days. The first day we kind of went deep into the technique and what it's about, that framework. What kind of non-compassionate communication looks like, which is something I've experienced in my life a lot, in different relationships. And I thought there has to be a better way than this. Like there has to be a better way to communicate than this like kind of toxic kind of blaming and judging, and we don't learn how to communicate like that. Nobody teaches that. No, my family, my parents, we didn't really talk about our feelings growing up. But my parents didn't ask me how are you feeling. So I've got like a really crap emotional vocabulary. Like I that's something that I need to work on, is like identifying like what's actually going on for me. And there's different ways that I can do that. I've got this big page of needs and feelings that I can work with when I'm actually getting triggered now. And so we practiced this technique with each other, and it was quite emotionally exhausting. Lots of deep work, bringing up like different situations that have triggered us in the past and that are triggering us now, and things that we want to say to people, and using this sort of framework to do that. And then the second day was around empathy training. So we learned all about empathy, what empathy is and what it's not, and what that looks like. And we practiced it with each other, and practiced like listening presently to the other person, sort of playing that back to the person, checking if we understood it correctly, and then trying to guess what their needs were in that situation. So like, it sounds like you're really needing assurance or security, or to be heard, to be seen. appreciation in this scenario. Is that right? And it was a really beautiful process. It was a bit clunky at first, but what you actually find is that, when you actually connect to the needs of that person, it creates connection, and you see that, and the person lights up, and they're like, yeah, like, you're right, actually, I do. That's what I need. And it was a really great experience to learn, what real empathy looks like, not just playing into the story and kind of making it worse, and adding drama to the situation, which is what most of us do, right? We don't learn what real compassion and empathy looks like. So that was a really powerful experience, and yeah, I'm really excited to kind of use this framework in my life. There's lots of different areas that I can use it, but also to use it on myself. When I'm getting triggered in various situations, I can kind of use this framework to try and figure out, okay, what's happening, what am I feeling right now, and what am I needing right now? Like, what need is not being met? And just doing that process can really help. And also using it in different relationships, using it with family, which is a big one for most people. Lots of triggers there. And it's a great way to sort of communicate with more empathy, more compassion, more authenticity, less blaming, judging, all those things that are not helpful for relationships. And like Tony Robbins says, that the quality of our relationships is the quality of your life. Because so much pain and suffering can come from our relationships. And my whole life, I've kind of shied away from a lot of conflict and confrontation because I didn't really know how to approach it. I didn't know how to communicate, and I don't like arguing. I don't like that kind of making other people wrong. I experienced a lot of that in my life, as people trying to make you wrong, blaming, judging, and communicating without any compassion or empathy. And it didn't feel natural to me, but I didn't know a way either to kind of communicate with someone like that. So finding this framework is really empowering, because it means that I can approach someone like that in my life and actually break it down and speak to them and connect with them, try to connect with them. And it's not a perfect solution. It's not always going to work, but you can try it, and it's going to be imperfect at the beginning, and it's going to be a bit clunky, but you need to find your own style. And so that's kind of where I am now. I'm trying to figure out, how do I apply this in my life? How can I sort of do this and inject little bits of empathy here and there, trying to figure out what they're needing in a situation when they're angry or they're frustrated, and they're expressing that with me. And so it will take time. It's a really long journey, right, to learn how to communicate like this. It's like learning a new language, like I said. But it's so rewarding, I think, and it's it'll pay so many dividends, because we can have more harmonious relationships with both ourselves and people that we love and we care for. And that is often a source of a lot of pain for us. When we have like unharmonious relationships with family and friends and things that happen, and we shy away from them because we don't know how to approach them, and we don't express how we're feeling and needing and how that person has hurt us because we don't know how to, and we're scared that it's going to make it worse. And so there's this fear, and so this is my experience anyway. And so you shy away from it, and you bottle it up, and you brush it under the rug, and you're like, oh no, it will be okay, and you retreat from that relationship. And then it's not really helpful for anyone, because you're carrying around this stuff, and it can manifest in different ways. It's not good to keep that in your body, those tense emotions. So this is a way of kind of purging and like kind of expressing that and being more authentic without the fear of making it even worse. Like as in it's kind of a safe framework to kind of bring things up with people. And I've been trying to use it and implement it in different difficult situations in my personal relationships, and it's an experiment, right? It's the Yeston experiment. It's just, you got to try these things, see how they go. And so if it's something that kind of, if anything resonates with you, I'd really recommend picking up the book, Nonviolent Communication. It's a pretty easy read, and just learning the basics of it. And if you want to know more about it, then happy to speak to you. Drop a comment below, and yeah, like it's something that I'm really excited to kind of share and start trying with different people. So let me know what you think, and yeah, hope you have a good day. See ya.